Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Constant Belt 9862 from the marriage subreddit. You may have seen this story with an update elsewhere, but it has a new update to it as well, which is apparently a strange new update. It's titled, My 26 Male, Wife 27 Female Wants to Have a Baby Next Year and says she can't wait longer due to PCOS. But I want to wait until she's 29 so we can have our own paid off apartment and enjoy being married first and to prepare accordingly. We're divorcing tomorrow. It escalated in the title already, bloody hell. We got married a year ago and genuinely love each other. We just celebrated our anniversary 2 weeks ago, which makes all of this feel more surreal and sudden. She has PCOS and it's been clear that she wants to start trying for a baby next year. We discussed having kids before marriage, and I told her that the next 2 years wouldn't work for me. I'm not against having kids. I want them with her, I just don't feel ready for the massive life change that comes with becoming a father. I'm 26 and she's 27, and I feel like we're still young. I want us to have more time together. Enjoy our marriage, build our lives, get our own apartment, pay it off, do fun things together, become more financially stable, and actually feel prepared before bringing a child into our lives. I told her I'd be comfortable trying when she's 29. She feels that waiting is unacceptable, partly because she has PCOS and is worried about her fertility and age. I've looked into the medical side of this as well. From what I understand, there isn't a sudden fertility cliff between 27 and 30, including for women with PCOS. A recent analysis of PCOS patients found no significant difference in clinical pregnancy or live birth rates between the 20 to 24, 25 to 29, and 30 to 34 age groups. Obviously, that doesn't guarantee anything for an individual woman, but it does make me question whether we really need to rush solely because she has PCOS. We've talked about this repeatedly, and neither of us seems willing to change our position. My original position was early 30s, then I moved to 29 and eventually said I'd be willing to reconsider sooner once we had our own apartment and were more financially stable. She hasn't accepted any of those options. Tomorrow at 9 AM, we're meeting to begin the divorce procedure. She feels I'm taking away something she deeply wants. I feel that having a child is a decision both people need to genuinely want and feel ready for, not something one person can set a deadline for. I love her and want children with her. I just don't want to become a father before I'm ready simply to save our marriage. Am I being unreasonable, or is this a fundamental incompatibility that neither of us should compromise on? So in the comments, one says, crazy that people divorce this easily. Wow. Hope you reply saying she wants to. I swear it's not me. I compromised, she didn't meet me halfway. Commenter says, is she willing to go to counseling at all? That's crazy. I'm sorry. Opie says no. She has anger issues too, by the way. She actually suggested therapy herself to work on them. When I brought it up and said that maybe she also needs some time to work on that, especially because dealing with anger issues while raising a child can be difficult, she got mad, but that's the truth. I'm pretty laid back, but with a kid, work, and all the added shit, I know I'd probably be much more on edge. Commenter says, none of it matters now. You've driven her away. Congratulations. She'll now find someone else to have children with, or she'll do it on her own. Opie says she wants the divorce, and she didn't meet me halfway. Why am I the one being blamed? I'm not ready yet. I can't agree just to save my marriage. I have to be 100% certain. Commenter says, you act like marriage is always 50-50. It's usually not. Sometimes it's 70-30, or 20-80, or 60-40. If you can't agree to save your marriage, then it's already over, and was likely to fail anyway. You'll both probably be better off. Commenter says, marriage is full of sacrifices and compromises. Marriage is a lot of work. This guy seems to not be up to the task. Opie says, you kinda miss the part where I compromised and she didn't. I've consistently compromised from early 30s to 29, to at least waiting until we have our own apartment, which realistically would have been next year. She herself originally wanted us to have our own place before kids, but now she's saying she wants kids with or without it. She's also changed her position. At least I've tried to meet her halfway. Commenter says, are you willing to trade an entire life with her for 2 more years of child-free life? Opie says those extra 2 years could make a huge difference in whether we're able to secure our own place or end up spending our savings on raising a child. I'd rather establish our own home first than risk having a landlord tell us to move out someday because he wants the place for his kids or something. And honestly, I'd rather have those 2 extra years to enjoy our freedom, travel, do whatever we want, and build our life together than jump into parenthood now, where a child becomes a 24/7 responsibility that completely changes our lives and takes a huge amount of our time and energy. So Opie comes in with their first update and says, just wanted to give everyone who commented on my original post a quick update. We met today and it was very amicable. No drama, no arguments, no heavy conversations. We just talked normally like we usually would and went through the process together. We submitted the papers and our hearing is scheduled for September 9th. There's still a lot of love and respect between us, but we both understand where we stand. I'm not sure what happens between now and September 9th, but for now, that's where things are. Thank you to everyone who took the time to give advice respectfully, share their experiences, or even disagree with me. I read pretty much everything, and some of it genuinely gave me a lot to think about. One commenter says to OP, gosh, I'm so sorry. There's no answer to this. It's just a sad state to find yourself. You're definitely right to not want to become a father before you are ready. Whatever that looks like for you, stable home and job is a great start, because kids come with many unforeseen complications. It's a never-ending cycle of exhaustion, money at the door, laundry and homework. It's not something to take lightly, and it sounds like you already know this. Best of luck, OP. OP responds saying, yeah, I'm honestly devastated that it came to this over a child who doesn't even exist yet. Someone who, years from now, might not even understand why we made such a painful decision for their sake. It hurts to think that our marriage could end over a future child who may one day look at us and say, I never asked to be brought into this world. OP comes in with another update and says, update 2. 26 male married to 27 female with PCOS. I'm considering an option I never thought I'd even entertain. I've read every single comment on my posts, even the ones that stung. I really do appreciate all of it. I also want to thank everyone who reached out privately. I did not expect that, and it meant more than you know. This is a personal update. I feel terrible even typing this. I never thought I'd be the kind of person considering something like this, but here I am, stuck between 2 choices and both of them feel wrong. I need to give you more context so you understand why this is breaking me. Her father passed away when she was young. She still has nightmares where she is a little girl again, begging him not to leave, asking him why he went away. She wakes up sobbing and I've been there for her every single one of those nights. I hold her until she falls back to sleep. Over time, she started telling me that I fill that gap for her. She sees me like a father in some ways because I've done things with her that she never got to do as a kid. Simple things like go to amusement parks and just making her feel safe. In many ways, I see her as someone who never got to fully heal, and I've tried my best to be that person for her. Seeing her vulnerable like that breaks my heart. I cannot imagine leaving her and knowing she would spend more time trying to heal from our relationship when I've been the one who has stood by her through everything. I know she would not be okay. I know she would struggle to move on, and I cannot stand the thought of that. And even if she did eventually find someone else, it would not be simple. She cannot just get a donor. She would have to marry again and find someone who accepts her and then go through the whole process of trying to build a family from scratch. The same time it would take for me to quietly delay things would be the same time she would spend trying to rebuild her life, except she'd be alone and treated like damaged goods by families who judge divorced women. I love her too much to let that happen to her. She does not want that either. She wants kids with me, and she feels like I'm holding her back from motherhood. She looked broken when we met for the divorce procedure. I know she has been having a terrible time, and I think part of her hoped the divorce talk would make me reconsider. Behind her firm position, there is a weak girl whom I genuinely consider a daughter in my heart. We were best friends for 3 years before we married, by the way. So here is the part I'm ashamed to admit. I've thought about going along with the plan. Bear with me. Quietly taking subtle steps to reduce our chances of conceiving right away. Basically self-sabotaging myself. Things that lower sperm count, reserves, quality temporarily to delay conception. Nothing permanent, nothing medical, nothing harmful, just enough to buy us time until we have our own place and I actually feel ready. I'm not trying to steal her chance at motherhood. She has PCOS and she always tells me it'll probably take us years to conceive anyway. So in my mind, I'm not ruining anything. I'm just trying to prevent the one scenario where it happens immediately before we are stable. Honestly, even without any self-sabotage, it would probably take years anyway. I have a desk job, no time for fitness, work stress, I eat red meat and sugar constantly. I probably already have low sperm. She would never be able to find out because I might genuinely have low numbers already. But doing this just makes sure, and she'll be happy that I'm finally trying. I do not want to do this. I really do not. But I do not see another way. If I tell her the truth, I risk losing her and putting her through all of that pain. If I go along with it, I risk becoming a father before I'm ready. If I quietly delay things, we have a chance. So my question is, if you're in my position and you genuinely could not find another way, what would you do? I'm already carrying a heavy weight and I just need honest perspectives without being torn apart. The first commenter says, no, just no. I read your post history and you need to get out of this situation yesterday. The commenters on the first post basically ignored you and focused entirely on her, forgetting that you have a whole lifetime ahead of you as well. She threatens divorce when she doesn't get what she wants, but doesn't really mean it to get her way. That's coercive. If you think this will end with a kid, it won't. Congrats, you now have no say in the size of your future family because she's willing to go nuclear before listening to you, not least because of people like the commenters to your earlier post. She crossed the Rubicon, now you live there. In case of a loss of cabin pressure, put your mask on first before assisting others. Your wife is grinding you down, sucking the life from you and dictating the course of your future without really considering you at all. You are not responsible for what happens to her and her choices for a kid once you leave. She made some serious mistakes with you and she'll have to live with them. You can't make her heal on your own, and you are not personally responsible for creating the dream family she pictures as the answer to her trauma. So no sperm count games. This isn't getting better. You can't bide your time until you are ready because when you are ready, it should be with someone who sees you as more than a tool to get her dream life. Commenter says, I couldn't agree more. Children really are a 2 yes situation, not 2 yes under duress. Opie says I agree, but to her, she might not even be able to get pregnant later. She says she knows people with PCOS who are 29 and could no longer get pregnant, so she worries the same could happen to her. The first comment to come back in and says, as mentioned previously, divorcing you, finding someone else and getting comfortable enough with them to have a baby, then having that baby would likely blow up a desired timeline as well. It makes it even clearer that divorce threats were manipulative. It's not hard to see why she feels like her back is up against the wall. Once again, your needs and feelings have zero to do with it. If, during any of this, you mattered to her as a person, it would have shown up in her words and actions. Someone says, I don't really understand. Neither of you are going to get what you want. Your marriage and future is going to go up in flames because you can't come to a compromise. If it were the fact that you never wanted children, then fair enough, that is a valid reason for divorce. But the fact that you are both unwilling to compromise on a 24-month timescale and divorce over it is wild to me. Surely there is a way to meet in the middle. Opie responded saying she wants to start trying next year. She is terrified that any delay will make it harder or even impossible. She believes the longer we wait, the more her chances slip away. To her, time is not on her side, and every year that passes feels like a door closing. Commenter says, am I misunderstanding that you said you're happy to try when you were 29 and you're 27 now? There is a maximum of 12 months between your desired timelines. Without knowing when your birthday is, it could be as little as 3 months between your desired timelines. I don't understand why either of you are willing to throw away your marriage over such a small timescale rather than just changing perspective to sit in the middle of the timescale. Opie says, I've even let go of the age limit and told her I'd consider trying sooner if we had our own place first, but she wants a firm commitment from me that we'll start trying next year regardless of whether we have our own place by then. Ladybug says, don't do this, it's a terrible idea for many reasons. The deception is terrible and a betrayal regardless of whether she knows about it. I'm weirded out by your wording about seeing her as a daughter, and sperm quality can cause miscarriages, not just delayed conception. I genuinely don't understand why you're incapable of reaching an agreement about this. She wants to start trying in a year. You are dead set on buying a place first and then trying, but you said in a comment you almost bought a place a month ago, so just buy one in the next year and you're good. It's also not hard to be in the process of buying while you're trying. I wouldn't suggest waiting until she's pregnant to start looking, but you'd be totally fine if you're closing on a house and TTC at the same time, or divorce if that's what you both want. Opie says, I think you misunderstood what I meant when I said I see her like a daughter. I did not mean it in a weird way. I meant it in a way that I have watched her experience things for the first time that she should have experienced with her father. Simple things like going to an amusement park, etc. We like to do fun stuff. She never had that growing up and I got to be the one to share it with her. Seeing her face light up in those moments is one of the best feelings in the world. That is all I meant. Nothing strange. Just a man who loves his wife and has tried to fill the void that was never her fault. Commenter says, I mean, this is horrible. If she ever finds out you did this, it'll destroy her. Get the divorce. This is so much worse. Opie says, like I said, even without any self-sabotage, it would probably take years anyway. I work a desk job. I have no time for fitness. I deal with constant work stress. I eat red meat and sugar like it's going out of style. I probably already have low sperm count without doing anything, so I'm not actively ruining anything, even if I honestly tried without sabotaging myself. Yes, we're currently living separately while we think everything through. We have about a month to decide whether to retract everything or move forward with the divorce. The first part of the post for me, it just felt like normal incompatibility. Sure, people were talking about the timelines being such a small space and divorcing over it. Was it the right choice? There should have been some compromise because they're literally talking about a couple of years and they could have met in the middle or something. But for me, I was kind of feeling like neither person should be forced into parenthood if you're not ready in that moment. But the later updates, where it says I consider her a daughter in my heart, and I know OP tries to explain it away that he means he helped her experience things she missed after losing her father, but bloody hell, that still felt like an incredibly odd way to describe your wife. Wanting to protect your spouse is one thing, right? But seeing them as like a child you're responsible for is another. And then coming in with that solution, air quote solution, intentionally lowering his fertility without telling her, it's just a terrible idea at every bloody angle. And it just felt like so many things were said where it's a whole load to unpack. The lowering your fertility, the deception in that itself, and then carrying the responsibility for her emotional well-being, because he says in it that he can't leave because she'll be devastated, that she won't heal, that she'll struggle to find another partner, that she'll be viewed as damaged goods, all this kind of stuff going on at the same time. And both of them seem to be doing random things. She appears to be using divorce as leverage to get the timeline she wants, while he's responding by considering lying into trying to delay a pregnancy. It's just wild, isn't it? And if you're coming to Reddit to ask strangers whether it's okay to secretly tank your sperm count to avoid having a baby with your spouse, the marriage has already crossed lines into a place that the trust is breaking down. Because quite honestly for me, none of it sounds healthy. But bloody hell, now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from alt Reddit account Y, who says, I 21 male just found out that my girlfriend 20 female has a Reddit account, which she uses to comment on my posts. Throwaway for obvious reasons. But this is the fucking strangest thing. I've been dating Steph for 4 months. She doesn't use Reddit, or so I thought. The other day I was at her place while she was doing some housework. Kinda bored, I asked if I could check my email on her laptop, which was open and playing music. She said sure. As she went about her chores, I also decided to go on Reddit for a bit. When I went to log in, the drop-down menu suggested a specific username. It didn't have the password saved, which means that even though she unchecked remember me, it still remembered a username. At first I was just like, aha, she totally does use Reddit and was only pretending not to so I wouldn't ask her user. Can't blame her, lol. But then I realized I recognized the name. Later, when I went home, I looked it up. Every single thing this user had posted was in response to me. She literally only uses Reddit just to talk to me, and they weren't like overwhelmingly supportive or negative posts. So she's not using Reddit to bully me or otherwise, but she's just talking. It's so freaking weird. What do I do? Do I call her out? TLDR, found that my girlfriend secretly has Reddit and she only uses it to respond to my posts. Should I tell her? Edit. I'm just going to say that I posted this question because I was wondering if her behavior was dark, creepy, or something I should be concerned about. Most of the replies make it seem like her behavior is lighthearted with nothing to really stress over, which is good, but I honestly did post this with serious intentions and concerns. Whoever posted the follow-up question to this sub from the perspective of my girlfriend is just a troll. What an odd thing. And I wonder what the purpose is behind it, and hopefully we're going to find that out in the update. And I'm not sure how it's making me feel, because it definitely feels like stalkerish, because she's secretly monitoring an online account he didn't know she was following, and he only found out because he went on her laptop, obviously. And of course there's comments saying that it's all lighthearted and stuff, but it doesn't make me feel completely comfortable, I gotta say. Is she trying to influence his opinions while pretending to be someone that he doesn't know? Or is it simply, I wanted to keep tabs on everything you posted, which is a whole nother level, right? But a commenter says, does she know your username? Opie says, I mean, I've never told it to her, but she knows I read it. She and I have hung out at my place, just watching TV while I'm scrolling through Reddit, so I assume she has seen it. She's never been interested or asked. The commenter replies saying, maybe just mention it casually like, hey, I noticed you have a Reddit account too. That's awesome, why didn't you tell me? Make it seem like you didn't realize it was only commenting to you or something. So it was a month later that Opie came back in and said, sorry it has been so long since I posted. Well, I seriously considered taking the top commenter's advice. That whole chain of comments is deleted now, but the advice was to make a separate Reddit account that only responded to things that Steph posted. Fuck with her back basically. Oh no. I actually decided not to do this because I didn't want to go through the long charade of it. I just wanted some answers, so I decided just to ask her about it. Well, even though I approached her gently, she completely freaked. She asked how I knew it was her commenting on my post this whole time, and I explained what happened. I then asked her to explain why she was doing what she did. She said she noticed my username when I was browsing Reddit in front of her. She got curious and wanted to see my profile, because she didn't know what Reddit was. Then she got intrigued. She started commenting on my post just because she wanted to talk to me online. There wasn't really a special reason for why she did it. She said she never actually thought that I would figure out it was her. But then I pointed out that couldn't completely be true because I noticed that she was a Redditor for longer than we had been dating, so clearly she did not learn about what Reddit was through me. I was ready to laugh off the situation, but she got immediately humiliated and broke up with me. This totally caught me off guard and I tried to salvage it, but she was adamant and went no contact. She even deleted all her comments from her Reddit account. Here's the even weirder thing. I haven't talked to her in a month, but she's doing it to somebody else now. Ooh. I checked her Reddit account, and all her old posts to me are deleted, but there is a whole series of new posts. They're all replies to the same one user. I don't know who the new user is. Maybe she is dating somebody else. But I did some quick math, and I realized that when she was doing it to me, her comment karma score did not match what it should have been if she was responding to only my posts. It was higher. And then I realized deleting comments doesn't change your overall karma score. So this means that she had made other comments before, deleted them all, and then started responding to only me. Now she seems like she's doing it again. All in all, it is a very strange situation, and I'm glad to be out of it. TLDR, approached girlfriend about what happened. She got really embarrassed that she got caught and broke up with me, deleted all her old comments. But now she's doing it again. Now she is doing her weird comment response thing to somebody else's account. A commenter just says, well, that's weird. Another one says, OP dodged being a suit of skin in her closet. Another one says, OP dodged edition, the interactive experience. Another one says, I'm glad you posted an update, but I don't know what to make of it. That is incredibly weird. There wasn't really a special reason for why she did it. I expect there was, and holy shit, do I ever want to know. Another one says, I don't think it was anything insidious. I think she was a stage 1 clinger. Stage 1 clinger. She knows this and feels like a stalker and is incredibly embarrassed about it, and just couldn't face him after the embarrassment of being found out. One more says, it probably is something as mundane as that, but as we don't know for sure, I'm going to keep the faith in it being truly bizarre. Now, I could be 100% wrong here because we just don't know. I was left with more questions than anything, but I don't think she was necessarily dangerous. Obviously, again, I don't know, but Opie is totally right to walk away because if someone lies about why they created an account, gets caught in that lie, and then immediately ends the relationship, deletes the evidence, and then repeated it, the exact same behavior with someone else. It just left me with far more questions than answers. It's one of those stories where you never really find out why, and it just makes it all uncomfortable. Like, is she still out there doing the same thing to someone else, and will she keep repeating it every time she gets caught, or if she gets caught? Wow. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, it is absolutely amazing. And hopefully, I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.